Hi, I'm Frances Valentine and I'm the founder of the Mind Lab. I've been asked today just to give a quick kind of introductory talk to social enterprises and entrepreneurship. And I imagine many of you are thinking, wow, where does entrepreneurship sit with education? And to be honest, as an educator, I would have thought the same thing, perhaps 10 years ago, where I saw education it's very separate from any form of business. But what I realised over the years of being in education is actually if you want to make change, you really do need to create your own world. And in my case, in a business where I could connect with others who are like-minded, bring others on board, create a community who could then look at ways of doing things differently and hopefully certainly doing things better. And what I would really love to share with you today is that everyone has this ability to actually take a great idea and bring it to life. And I see a real calling around social projects. In the early days of the Mind Lab, which is only a couple of years ago, I was giving my absolute everything to getting this organisation off the ground and really wanting to make an impact by first reaching students in our physical labs and also then more recently in the last year and a half of reaching teachers. And I have to say there were times I kept thinking, how can I make changes? How can I change the New Zealand education system for the better? How can I empower teachers to have more confidence around the changing role of education through this very transitional time of impact of new technologies and phasing out of old ways and bringing in new ways? And so, I looked at it and thought, gosh, this is a tricky space to be in. But what I realised is there is ability to scale. And the scaling I could see was from the demand. So I made sure that I realised what it was that teachers really wanted and what parts of the education they could see needed to be changed. I made, had many conversations with parents and with students and said to them, what doesn't work? And their motivation and their desire for change made me go, I can do this. I can make that difference. And bring a lot of people along the journey with me who also want to make a difference. And to be honest, about a year after we opened, I was feeling like, gosh, this is huge. This is such a massive undertaking, changing a culture of an entire society, the way they think of education, and moving people away from the idea that technology is a tool for entertainment and a device for connecting with others, whether it be social media or YouTube, but actually something that really empowers them to connect with others, extend their knowledge, collaborate, linked to research. There are so many benefits, as you're aware. I suddenly thought, what, New Zealand can be a catalyst in global change, not just changing the way the New Zealanders think about education, but we can actually grow to the point where we can scale and actually change education from the ground up. And that's where obviously you as teachers have really come into play. And what we've seen over the last couple of years is just a tremendous shift in teacher behaviour and in the way that they think about their role as leaders and their role as educators and how they can actually help other students or their students to really make the most of the opportunities ahead. And one of the things that's really interesting here by the fact that we do teach children every day, in fact, very large numbers of student groups, is that there is an incredibly large number of young people who will never ever work for a corporation, have no desire to follow in their parents' footsteps, don't want to work in a business that exists. They see the ability that they can create their own business. And so globally, the research is now showing that there's a much, much higher level of 12-year-old entrepreneurs in the world than there are, say, 16, 18-year-old entrepreneurs. So we've got the first generation of self-educated kids who are finding solutions but also seeing that they can create businesses and real wealth around that. And not necessarily wealth in terms of dollars, but in terms of wealth of connections, wealth of contribution. There's a huge social calling that they want to actually make a difference. We've got more people trying to solve the world's problems of things like poverty, the lack of equity and equality. We're trying to solve things around things like refugees and distribution of food and resources. And I'm really incredibly inspired by a generation who actually want to use technology to benefit others on a level that we've never seen. And I think as a teacher in New Zealand, we really should encourage our students to say, look, if you've got these ideas that you think you can make a change and you're not happy with the inequality that you see, whether it be in over your back fence or across the world, that actually now is the time that you can reach out and make a difference, because of the connections and communities that can form, particularly online, are very real. We're engaging with each other in a way that we never could before. So what I really would like to say today is, as part of this experience and journey, I'm hoping that you're exploring and reflecting on who you are as an individual, as a teacher, and what your contribution is. We all know those magic teachers who empower us and say, look, you know what, there's no reason why you can't, instead of saying, why you can't. So let's look at the ways that we can involve students with enterprise, and it could be small things. I know that we've had students who have created worm farms and sold worms, or beehives and sold honey. We've had those who have created organic farms in their communities. Some have created on small e-commerce sites and have sold craft goods created by people in their class. And I think that the idea that they can contribute, and there are the platforms now that are almost no cost to set up, and there are certainly children who are creating these sort of 3D models for Minecraft, or there are children who are selling things online that they're creating in 3D, whether it be 3D models for virtual worlds, or whether it be content and little animations for companies to use. We have to look at the skills for the future that students need for the future quite differently. We really do need to see what it is that they can bring from their reservoir of knowledge and skills and capability, and bring it to the forefront. And while there's always going to be that need for literacy and numeracy and all of the core competences we all strive to teach our students, we also need to identify passion and have students the ability to go and thrive in the new future, which will increasingly have students creating their own enterprises. This is the time now where we can say, right, well, what can we do in terms of encouraging students to understand what enterprise is, and certainly within social enterprise.